morning. My name is Taryn Sylvester. I'm a research assistant on the National Security Human Capital Program. It is no secret that in recent years, the United States military has faced its greatest recruitment challenge since the end of the draft. With fewer than a quarter of young Americans able to meet military entrance standards without a waiver, and only 9% interested in joining the military, the services have struggled to meet their end strength goals. While the military itself cannot impact all factors that go into someone's choice whether or not to serve, closing the gap between those eligible for and those interested in military service is the job of recruitment. The services have invested significant time, money, and ingenuity into building recruiter capacity, tailoring outreach, incentivizing older recruits, improving waiver processing times, and helping Americans who want to serve meet the standards. As a result, after several tough recruiting years, all the services met their recruiting goals in 2024, and indicators suggest they are likely to do the same again this year. However, the United States is not alone in its struggle to make military service an attraction option for young adults. The war in Ukraine has brought the threat of Russian aggression to NATO's doorstep. Many worry whether the manpower exists within NATO's individual member forces to meet the alliance's Article 5 commitments for collective defense. The picture is startling across the continent. All branches of the British Armed Forces are currently understaffed. In 2023, 3,000 French billets were left unfilled. The Italian Navy currently has 10,000 fewer sailors than it needs to meet its mission sets. And the German Bundeswehr is lacking 20% of its officer corps and nearly 30% of its junior enlisted service members. Approaches to address these shortfalls vary. The Netherlands has introduced a voluntary service year to encourage citizens to explore military service. In the UK, the Ministry of Defense announced the creation of the Armed Forces Recruitment Service to combine and streamline their recruitment efforts, but the service isn't set to launch until 2027. Several countries are weighing the use of conscription to meet readiness challenges, a move Americans have resisted since the transition to the all-volunteer force in 1973. In Europe, where the Russian threat is far more present, citizens of some nations view conscripted service more favorably. This holds especially true for the Nordic states, which offer successful models of conscription in Europe that other states can look to. Norway, a founding member of NATO, never eliminated conscription. Today, they can meet their steady state requirements every year with only a fraction of the eligible population. As a result, the military can be selective in who it accepts, leading to a higher quality of recruit and making service a boon for future employment. Finland has a similarly unbroken tradition of conscription. However, their model still requires all men to serve at least a short term. This has fostered a culture with a positive view of their shared service. Most other NATO countries moved away from conscripted service following the Cold War. Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine has some nations considering return to the draft. In January 2024, Latvia reintroduced military conscription after an 18-year suspension. Germany, which maintained conscription until 2011, also passed legislation last year aimed at testing public receptiveness to its reintroduction. However, there is no one-size-fits-all approach that can solve the recruitment puzzle for everyone. While some nations are more open to conscription, others have a different relationship between their citizens and military, where conscription may only be acceptable in the face of an existential threat. Culture, history, and geography play important roles in this discussion for each individual country. The U.S. military services have spent the last decade addressing the same recruiting dilemma facing many of our European allies today. They have met the change by pioneering strategies to reach non-standard groups who can bring valuable skills into the modern force. Deliberate investment in recruiters and addressing waiver backlogs has eased friction in the accessions process, opening the path to service for many motivated recruits. These experiences and novel approaches can be an asset for NATO countries looking to revitalize their own military recruitment processes. America's edge is and always has been our ability to forge alliances, ensuring no one fights alone. Why then would we leave our closest allies to face these recruiting challenges alone? Thank you.